find your way to gate 12 and back. Like it was his first task, and he comes up on that guy loading those logs with the orchids on them.
No way.
That was Mike's first day on the job.
Wow.
You fast forward now to 30-something years later, they're doing introductions with the Atlanta Orchid Society and the Orchid
And
Gardens,
I even know who
taking
Mike
native
Owens
species,
is.
taking the seeds and cloning them
Yeah.
and introducing orchids. So like
Yeah.
he went full. He's like, I didn't even know I knew that they were orchids, but he's like, I didn't even know what kind they were the
Yeah.
first time I saw them. And like now he's like an authority on the information.
And it's almost like they took the idea of the poacher and turned it conservation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, well, if they're trying to steal these wild orchids to propagate them and sell, could we propagate them and help with conservation?
That's the Digistar. That one's flowering, but it's the tiny little flowers on it.
Yeah. Dang. You ever seen a ghost orchid?
This is where you, right here, within like 100 yards of us, is where they're gonna live.
Yeah, I always refuse to go looking for them in August when they're blooming because I never want the hunt to be done.
Right in here. No, this is
wow.
it. You come back, we'll find them. They're
Yeah.
right here, within 100 yards.
I think
right
all these
here.
years later, I'm finally ready to see one and take it in.
And the people are still they had somebody took 7 of them or something that the park had marked last year.
I would let you blindfold me, in all honesty, dude.
No, I'd feel good. Like even on my tours, because we do so many people, like I don't necessarily point out, they're just as excited to see an air plant as an orchid. But I've noticed that like it's hard because over the years, just see them around the side of the river, and I'm like, hey, it's there, and then one day you go to point and it's gone. Whether it's because somebody took it or someone was carelessly like ping-ponging in a canoe and you know
And a
knocked it off
ghost
with a
orchid
paddle.
isn't even something that's pretty other than a couple weeks out of the year.
And
It's
you
an
can
orchid
buy
that doesn't even
you
have
can
any
buy a
leaves.
cultivated one. You can buy them cultivated for
Really?
$20.
A ghost orchid? I didn't know that.
Same genus species. It's a what do you call it? Like a tame variety. But you
Wow.
can buy them. You can go online and they sell starts and stuff.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
But they're one of the only orchids that doesn't even have any leaves, so they're not. They just look like a root system until they're flowering.
There's 3 of them that are leafless varieties here: the vanilla orchid, the ghost orchid, and then the one that's called ribbon orchid. Most people see ribbon orchid and think it's ghost orchid because like when you get in here, there's probably some right on this tree here. It looks like flat.
Do you know what a
pieces.
jingle bell orchid is?
I do not.
Maybe you could help me with it, like, because I found this orchid growing up in like Mayak area where I live, and it's a leafless orchid. From everything I could tell, every time I'd seen one, it's called the jingle bell orchid. Very, very, very tiny though, but I didn't know if it actually was leafless or if something came along and ate all the leaves that I saw every time I saw one.
Right.
But when I'd look it up, it would show no leaves. It's just a root system like the ghost orchid.
Uh-huh.
Pretty wild.